So today I want to talk about this stage of life. So I saw this video on TikTok and it really resonated with me, and it was something I wanted to go further into and kind of speak about my own life with it. So if you're trying to think of like your whole life, your past, your present, your future, and then you reflect back to your past and think, all of that shit that I went through, how did I get here? How did I get here? How am I going to get to the future? So you got to kind of think about the stage of life. So imagine you're on a stage. You're on a stage looking out onto the crowd of like empty seats. But you stood there on the stage, and then right beside you on the left-hand side is your past. There's multiple versions of you stood right next to you. You've got the moment where you crumbled. You've got another moment where you didn't think you would get out of that situation. You've got another version of you who went through trauma. You got another version of you that went through rejection, pain. There's multiple versions of you from multiple years, and they're in a line, and they're just looking at you because you're ahead of them. And they're all just staring at you, and you're looking back at them. And they're thinking in their mind, how did you get there? How did you get out of the moment that I'm living in right now? How are you stood there? How are you even alive? So they asked me, how did you get there? How did you get out of that moment? Please tell me. There are so many versions of myself that I lived through. There are so many versions of yourself that you go through. You evolve every time that you go through a traumatic rejection, pain event. There's a version of me stood right beside me who went through so much trauma of losing her mom. She didn't know how she could move forward. She didn't know how to move forward without her mom because my mom was my best friend. She didn't know this version of me is stuck. And she looks at me and asks me, how did you not crumble? How did you not give up on life because you lost your mom, your best friend, the only person that you always relied on? How did you not crumble? I tell that version of myself, of course I crumbled. I lost a part of me. But when I get knocked down, I get back up again. It did take me time, absolutely. When you go through losing your parent, you go through so much pain, so much trauma. But you know what? My mum would not appreciate me just sitting in a corner rocking and crying every day. She would be pushing me to get on with my life because, again, you got to make them proud even if they're on earth or not. The next version of me beside her went through 5 years of emotional manipulation, cheating, and pain. She didn't know how she would get back into a new relationship or move forward and gain that trust in people again. She crumbled and lost a lot of herself. And she would turn and look at me and be like, how are you so strong? How are you so resilient? How are you where you are now? How did you get through the pain, the trauma? How did you get through it? Please tell me. You kind of have to reflect back to your old versions and be like, do you know what? No matter what you went through, you will get out of it. You have to go through hell, and you need to find the light to get out. You have to embrace and absorb the emotions. You have to embrace the pain to make you more powerful, more resilient. Otherwise, you're not going to get through that moment. You have to build yourself to become strong. Every pain, every traumatic experience evolves you into a new person, evolves you into a stronger person. And what I would say to my previous versions of myself that are stood on the stage with me, looking at me, thinking, how on earth did you get there? How did you move forward? How did you get through what we're going through? How? They must be thinking, how did you not go AWOL? How did you not lose your mind? How did you not go off the rails? Of course I went off the rails. We all go off the rails. We all go AWOL. We all have to go AWOL to find our moment, to release anger, release the emotions, to find ourselves and bring it all back in. On the stage of life, with my old versions beside me, I would look at them and think, no matter what you're going through right now, just keep swimming. The only advice I can give to my previous selves, if I could go back into those moments and just appear in front of myself in those horrible situations of my life, losing my mom, going through a horrible breakup, rejection, cheating, everything, I would tell myself, no matter what, you have to keep going. And then it kind of makes me reflect. If I can see my past self stood right next to me on the stage of life and they can see me, if I turn to my right, there's my future self. And she's just one person that I can see at the present moment. And she's looking at me. And I'm looking at her and I'm like, how did you get there? It's a repetitive moment. My past, my future. I'm looking at my future self and I'm asking her, how did you get there? She has what I am desiring right now. She has the car, the home, the job, the money. She looks amazing. She has progressed so well in her gym progress. She has progressed so well in her business. And I want what she has, but what is she telling me? She's going to tell me what I told my previous selves. Just keep swimming, just keep going, keep moving forward, don't give up. So if you're kind of thinking that you're feeling stuck, kind of just see yourself on a stage in a theater with no one around, just you in the limelight. On the left hand side, you have multiple versions of yourself from previous years. You could have 10 versions of yourself if you want. And just imagine them all looking at you, thinking, how on earth did you get there? How on earth did you get to that stage where you are in life? That they're desiring to get out of the pain, the trauma, the rejection, the horrific situation they're in. And then I want you to look at your future self and think, what does she have that you want right now? What is she telling you? What is he telling you that to push you forward, to make you move forward? What are they saying to you? They're going to say the same as what you said to your previous self. No matter what, Laura, just keep going. Don't give up. That is what I always use to myself. Do not give up. Do not give up. If you feel like giving up, ask yourself, have you exhausted every idea possible to get where you want to go? Have you found every solution to your problem? If not, find more, because you never know when you're going to hit the pot of gold. You just never know. You just got to keep swimming. You just got to keep going. And with my future self, she will be telling me the exact same. Laura, keep going, because you will get to where I am now. And then once I get to my future self, there will be another future self that I look at and think, how do I get to that stage? And again, it's climbing the ladder, it's climbing the steps. One step at a time, just keep going.